Hi guys, it's album review time. But before we get onto the album review, I just want to say I'm doing merch now. So if you want to click the link below this video in the description, you can go to the site, order anything you want. There's like 5 different designs, including this one, where you can have it on anything you want, literally anything. Shower curtains was a new one, dog mats. I mean, that's the one, isn't it? So if you want to do that and click on the link below, that'd be great. So album review time. Nitrate and Feel the Heat. What a great title for the album. Let's just start there. Just brilliant. I just like the title, and we get on to the title even makes me think 80s. Doesn't it make you think 80s? And so it should. This album should make you think 80s. What I love about Nitrate, the band, is the way they embrace that great period of time, especially in the late 80s, which Nitrate do brilliantly. First of all, before I get onto the album review as well, I want to say massive thanks to the band, Nick Hogg especially, for sorting this out for me. Just look at that. I've got 2 of these. I've got a bigger one as well, but I framed this smaller one. I will be framing the bigger one as well. A signed poster from the band. Look at that. What a brilliant bit of artwork that is. So thank you to Nick and Nitrate for sending that to me. Okay, so onto the album review. So 11 tracks. The album's out on October the 13th on Frontiers Records, the first album on Frontiers, and they are pretty much the perfect choice, the perfect signing for Frontiers, aren't they? They have Frontiers written all over them. Frontiers have made a brilliant, over how many years now, to bring the great music we love, melodic rock, AOR, to the audience. And they've done a great job of that. And Nitrate are surely like the poster boys of what Frontiers are after, without a doubt. So October the 13th on Frontiers, like I said, 4th album. I love the last album, Renegade. I've got a signed album of that as well. So that's amazing. But what a great album that was. And this one really literally doesn't just carry on from that great sound we had on that. It does everything Renegade did, but just does it a little bit better as well. So it's got everything you want from the last album, but extra finesse, extra great songwriting, extra great musicianship. So I've already reacted to 2 singles already. I've actually reacted to a 3rd single, which you won't see yet because that's coming at a later date. I think it's being released on release day. So I won't tell you which single that is yet as well, but I will go through the tracks obviously and talk about each track on this album. Now, I did mention the influence from the 80s for sure. I'm proud of it, which I love. Sometimes with reviewing, you've got to really be careful what you say about the 80s and going back in time, because some bands take a bit of offence by it and they're like, oh no, we're not 80s, we're nothing to do with that, we're modern. But I think, this band embrace all that and they make it clearly known that's what the sort of sound they're going after. And I love that. It makes me relax while doing a review as well. So Nick Hogg's influence, or the band's influence as well, across especially these last 2 albums of Nitrate. Bon Jovi, definitely talking, that period of time where Bon Jovi were good and they could write songs. Journey for sure. Bad English goes without saying. And Def Leppard have been cited out as an influence. And well, yeah, Def Leppard, Hysteria, Pyromania, that sound is all over this band. So without a doubt. And I'm not sure, I think with Renegade, it felt like more towards that Hysteria sort of sound they were going after. It carries on here, but maybe dropping off the Def Leppard influence is a slight touch, but still strong indeed. This album was written by Nick Hogg, the Martin brothers, we'll get on to the musicians in a minute, and also Robert Hodgson. So Robert Hodgson, yeah, they all done a co-write on this album, and man, it's great. The songwriting is so great on this album. It's so catchy. Ridiculously catchy, this album, all the way through. Every chorus is just super smooth, super sugary and catchy as hell. It really is. Even more than Renegade. Man, that goes some. So, in this band, Alexander Strandell, they used him again from the last album. So he was used the first time round on Renegade. He carries on this album. And he really is this is where, for me, he hits home with me. It's my favourite project that he's in. So he's in Crown, obviously. He's in Art Nation. But this, I think, is where Alexander Strandell, for me, is at his best in this AOR melodic rock, for sure. He just fits perfectly in this. Got Tom and James Martin, ex-Vega. So Tom's on the guitar, James Martin on the keys. These guys are just amazing. Just not just songwriters, musicians. They just know how to add to songs rather than, I mean, they can play anything, these guys. Tom Martin's a brilliant guitarist. James Martin is an excellent keyboardist. The synth work across this album is just immense. It's amazing. And the guitar work, but they just add to the songs. You know, it's a brilliant solo, but it doesn't stay too long because it's just about the song. It's always about the song, and there is some amazing musicianship across the album, but this is an album full of songs, some great songs and great melodies. That's first and foremost, but it doesn't stop the technical ability just shining through on this album as well. So I did mention James Martin as well on the keys. Synths play a massive part in this band. They did on Renegade, they do here. On certain songs a little bit more. You know what I mean? They're really at the forefront on some. The guitar sort of takes over a little bit more, but man, it's some great work across this album. Richard Jacks also on the guitar, sharing with Tom Martin. I mean, man, I've already mentioned the musicianship. I'm not sure who does which solo, whether Tom takes the main solos, but the rhythm guitar work, the melodies, the guitar solos are just sublime. They really are. And then you've got the rhythm section of Alex Cooper and obviously Nick Hogg on the bass. So yeah, I mean, this is all about songs again. You're not going to see anyone going off on like a massive drum solo or anything like that. It's all about just keeping tight, making sure the songs just have room to breathe and the melodies breathe. And the drummer does an amazing job along with obviously Nick Hogg, the brainchild behind Nitrate. And man, he must be loving life, getting these musicians together, these amazing musicians, and producing quality like this. I mean, man, he seems such a humble guy as well. I mean, I was actually invited, and I'm gutted by Darren O'Sullivan, one of the idiots who runs the Sleeve Saturday channel, an amazing YouTube channel that is just growing by the day. He's done an interview with the guys in Nitrate, and I got invited along and I just couldn't make it. And I'm gutted, I really am, but I'm going to leave a link below for Darren's Sleeve Saturday channel, and you can just go on there, subscribe, and then you'll be getting a notification for that interview when it comes up on his channel, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Darren is literally a master at interviews and everything he does on his channel. It's amazing, check out that. So, Nick Hogg, yeah. Brilliant, just brilliant. He just knows exactly what he wants. He knows what musicians to pull in. He knows how to write a song. Amazing musician, and he's British. Come on guys. Anyway, moving on to the songs on this amazing album, and we're going to talk about every song. And we kick off with Feel the Heat. So the album's Feel the Heat. This is the title track, it's the first track. Some police sirens sound out, and then synths set you up just for this brilliant song. Guitar riffs crash in, and we're underway. Straight away, you are literally transported to a hot Miami street. It's pretty amazing the way this band do it. It really is. Synths are such an important part of this band, and this song in particular. It's something you might hear on a Miami Sound Machine hit of the 80s. It really is, but it works amazingly with heavy rock riffs. It's just an amazing sound it's got, this song. The chorus, of course, is so infectious, and the first solo is what you would expect. Melodic and technically brilliant. An amazing start to the album. Then we move on to the second song, All the Right Moves. She's got all the right moves, and she knows how to use it. This song has got some amazing positive reviews and comments under their video, under my video as well, and deservedly so. It's an amazing song. Their 80s soundtrack sort of sound in full force here. There's a lovely, simple but effective bass line and chugging guitars going through this, and they lead to a chorus that would just it'd be in your head for weeks. It's amazing. Those synths just flicker from left to right in the headphones. An amazing sound, an amazing job. Delicious stadium rock is what it is. Then we move on to Wild in the City. This was the first single actually, so those synths kicked this one off on this brilliant galloping track. This was the lead single, like I said, and probably my favourite of the singles so far actually. A huge track that maybe has a slightly heavier feel than the first two tracks. The synths sort of really pop in the mix because it's more guitar driven. What a solo as well, an amazing song. Needs a Little Love is the next track. Goes without saying, another huge track. The guys give me sort of slight Big City Lights feels from their last album on this one. I think it's that almost ballad, but not quite a ballad feel running, sort of the bass line running through this that gives me that. It's just amazing. The song lifts up into the chorus at the end. It goes up a key, you know, just like Bon Jovi used to do with their, I mean, they've cited Bon Jovi as an influence, you know, but you know, when they used to write their hits in the 80s, you always used to hit that stratosphere chorus at the end. A brilliant song. Next up is One Kiss to Save My Heart. This is the ballad of the album. Guitars are sort of deeper in the mix on this, and so they should be. That's how it should be on a ballad. There's a female vocalist on this one, sharing with Strandell. It's a great duet, harmonising perfectly in this cool ballad that has almost gives me rock set and heart feels for sure. A great ballad that has that great Nitrate trademark. Then we move on to Live Fast, Die Young. The heat from the city street is felt again here, just like it did with the first song. Sort of tinkering keys accompany riffy guitars, leading to another amazing 80s soundtrack type chorus. I mean, come on man, this band literally lead the way in that sound. They really do. Arena rock that would fit perfectly in that sort of 80s set series. Amazing stuff. A perfectly executed solo again, of course, and again the song hits the stratosphere as they push the song to a higher key at the end again. It really ups the ante to a brilliant song. Haven't Got Time for a Heartache is next, probably the heaviest track on the album. It's a riffy, groove-laden track. Synth's not really playing a part really at all until the second round of verses. Even then, they're sort of held back in the mix because it's a heavier song. Still as catchy as ever though, of course, with those amazing backing vocals. I didn't even mention them yet. Backing vocals here, Def Leppard-esque all the way through, and they're really bright in this one. They're all over that chorus. Really cool track. Then we hit the track Satellite. This is track 8, slow to medium sort of pace song. After the slightly more heavier Haven't Got Time for a Heartache, we are back in familiar territory. It's really nice to hear Strandell's vocals in that lower range. We all know he can hit those high notes with no effort whatsoever, but we don't often get to hear him in that lower range, and it's very nice indeed. This is another track that's sort of balanced in ballad territory, I would say, an almost psychedelic touch in the bridge leading up to the solo. Very cool songwriting, introducing those slightly different elements to their sound. Strike Like a Hurricane is track 9. Some very cool nostalgic whoa-whoas at the beginning. Set this track off to a rocking 80s groove. The guitars chug their way to another ultra catchy chorus, and we get a track that would fit really nicely, maybe on the first couple of Bon Jovi albums. You know, when Bon Jovi could really hit it out of the park. Another great track. Big Time is the next track. She's heading for the big time, big time. Gonna see her. One of the many standout tracks, I think, on this album. This has a real stomp to it throughout the verses. I love the synth-soaked verses that introduce the groove-laden guitars. They lead to a huge chorus that has one of the most underused bits of percussion in the music industry. Of course, cowbell. Simple, but so effective. A brilliant track. Then the last track is Stay. Synths and vocals start this brilliant closing track. Again, Strandell in that lower range sounds excellent. This sort of has that deep track sort of feel. You know, the sort of track that you know might end up being your favourite of the album. It has a great structure that doesn't seem to follow the usual structure of the album. It sort of sounds like epic AOR to me, and a great way to finish this brilliant album. So guys, I think most people, AOR fans, melodic rock fans, you know, who love a bit of 80s melodic rock will have their eye on this album for sure. But if you're not, take my word for it, you're gonna love this. It's perfect for you. It really is. It's perfect summer soundtrack. So October the 13th on Frontiers, like I said, guys, this is one to get. It really is. Let me know if you're going to get it in the comments below. What do you think of Nitrate? What do you think of Renegade and their other albums? What's your favourite one so far? Let me know in the comments below, guys, and I'll see you soon.